When Meghan Markle landed the role of paralegal Rachel Zane on the American legal drama Suits in 2011, it felt like the culmination of years of perseverance, rejection, and quiet belief in herself. At 29 years old, Meghan was not an overnight success. She was an actress who had auditioned relentlessly, taken small roles, worked side jobs, and continued showing up, even when the industry made it clear how difficult it was to break through. So when Suits finally came along, it was not just a job. It was validation. It was proof that her talent, preparation, and resilience mattered. Meghan has spoken before about how surreal that moment felt, going from struggling actress to series regular on a hit show filmed in Toronto. Rachel Zane quickly became a fan favourite, not just because of her sharp intelligence and ambition, but because Meghan brought warmth, vulnerability, and depth to the role. Almost immediately, Meghan wanted to share her joy. Not in a flashy or performative way, but in a way that reflected who she had always been. According to someone who claimed to be close to her at the time, shortly after her first days on set, Meghan hosted a small gathering at her home known as the Sayonara Zara Party. The idea was simple and surprisingly generous. She gave away many of the high street clothes in her wardrobe to friends. For some, this story has been twisted into something shallow or materialistic. But when you look at it honestly, it reveals something very different. Meghan was not discarding her past. She was marking a transition. She was acknowledging a new chapter while sharing her good fortune with people she cared about. That impulse to include others in her joy is a recurring theme throughout her life. The Insider described Meghan as the kind of person who wants to be friends with her stylist. That line says more about her openness than anything else. Meghan has always been curious, collaborative, and interested in people. She builds relationships easily, not because she wants to use people, but because she genuinely enjoys learning from them. As Suits gained popularity and Meghan's profile rose, her fashion naturally evolved. This is something that happens to almost every actor who steps into the public eye. Stylists, designers and brands take interest. Opportunities expand. Choices widen. Meghan's wardrobe began to reflect her growing confidence and visibility. But it is important to remember that this evolution was gradual and organic. Fashion experts have pointed out that even before Prince Harry entered her life, Meghan was already accustomed to a world where clothing was often loaned for events or photo shoots. That is simply how the entertainment industry works. Actors wear pieces temporarily, return them, and rarely pay retail prices for red carpet looks. Meghan was not unique in this. She was professional. During her 7 seasons on Suits, from 2011 to 2017, Meghan attended industry events, brand launches, and gifting suites like many actors do. She wore designers such as Stella McCartney, Diane von Furstenberg, and Dolce & Gabbana, not as a status symbol, but as part of her career growth. Her style became polished, sophisticated, and unmistakably hers. What often gets overlooked is how intentional Meghan has always been. She did not simply wear clothes. She curated an image that aligned with her values: clean lines, timeless silhouettes, pieces that conveyed confidence without excess. Even then, she gravitated toward designers who championed ethical practices and female empowerment. Around this time, Meghan also formed a close friendship with Canadian stylist and socialite Jessica Mulroney. They met in Toronto shortly after Meghan began filming Suits. Jessica was well-connected, stylish, and familiar with navigating visibility. For Meghan, who was stepping into a more public role, this friendship made sense. For years, the two were close. They travelled together, supported each other, and shared moments openly on social media. Their bond was genuine and reflective of that period in Meghan's life. Jessica and her family were present at Harry and Meghan's wedding in 2018, with her children playing key roles in the ceremony. That alone shows the level of trust and closeness that once existed. Jessica even helped style Meghan during her engagement and accompanied her on her first royal tour in 2018. That tour was intense. Australia, Fiji, Tonga and New Zealand in just 2 weeks under constant global scrutiny. Meghan was newly married, newly royal and newly pregnant. The pressure was immense. Much has been made of the cost of Meghan's wardrobe on that tour, but context is rarely provided. Royal tours have always involved carefully planned wardrobes that reflect diplomacy, local designers, and cultural respect. Meghan approached this role with professionalism and grace, often choosing pieces that spotlighted local talent and sustainability. Then came 2020. Jessica Mulroney became embroiled in a public controversy involving a racially charged exchange with a black lifestyle blogger. The fallout was swift and severe. Jessica apologized publicly. Her career suffered. Her marriage later ended. And quietly, her friendship with Meghan ended as well. What is crucial here is what Meghan did and did not do. She did not make public statements. She did not attack. She did not center herself. As a woman who has spoken openly about racism and accountability, Meghan chose to live her values privately. That silence was not cruelty. It was consistency. Friendships sometimes end, especially when values diverge, especially when one person is navigating global racism and another is being called out for behaviour related to it. Meghan was under no obligation to publicly manage someone else's crisis. Yet even years later, narratives continue to frame Meghan as responsible for the fallout. Sources speculate. Regrets are projected. Claims are made about dark clouds and lost opportunities. But none of that comes from Meghan herself. What we do know is this. Meghan Markle has always moved forward. From actress to duchess to independent woman, building a life on her own terms. She has outgrown spaces, relationships, and roles without bitterness. Growth often looks like leaving things behind. Prince Harry recognized that quality in her from the very beginning. In Botswana, long before titles and turmoil, he saw a woman comfortable in herself. A woman who could laugh in a tent, disconnect from the world, and simply be present. That woman still exists. The Meghan we see today is not disconnected from the Meghan of Suits. She is an evolution of her, still generous, still intentional, still forming meaningful connections, still choosing integrity over image. The attempt to reduce her story to clothes, friendships, or perceived ambition misses the point entirely. Meghan Markle's journey has always been about self-determination, about claiming space in industries and institutions that were not built with her in mind. And through it all, Prince Harry has stood beside her, not because of status, but because of love, because he saw in her the courage to walk away from what no longer served them. Together. That is the story worth telling, not the noise, not the projections. But the woman who worked for her dreams, shared her joy, learned from every chapter, and continues to live authentically. And that is why, years later, people are still watching, still listening, still rooting for Meghan and Harry.